Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Shri Hanuma Bhima Madhvantargata Ramakrishna Vedavyasatmaka Lakṣmī Hayagrīvāya Namaha. Namaskara of Srinivasan Pranesh to all Sajjanas. We are going through a series of discourses under the title Vedas and Unbiased View, the goal of which is to logically explain the convincing facts about the eternity and the authority of the Vedas. We are in the 15th part of this series. So in the 14th part, we started with Maṅgala Ślokā, Maṅgala Ślokā of Śrīmad Madhvacharya in Śrīmad Viṣṇu Tattva Vinirṇaya, a grantha composed by himself. We went through that the Supreme God itself means supreme. There is only one God. So God Śrīman Nārāyaṇā is specially known and primarily known via Sad Agama only. He is known primarily in the Sad Agama. He is specially known through Sad Agama, Sadagama. So on what is meant by Sadagama, we went through that Sadagama means Nirdosha Agama, defectless scriptures. And we already went through in part 14 on what is meant by Agama, what are all the defects that could be present in the words. If we get into the question, if perception of God is not at all possible, then it is not so. Perception is possible for the Mukti Yogya, that is liberation, Mukti eligible souls. But after pleasing the God enough, because God has to reveal himself to us, and he reveals only to the extent the particular soul is eligible to perceive him. So there is gradation even in the perception. But this perception is not going to happen from day one. So for questions like simply asking us to show God if he is present, so that cannot be done. We cannot show God because we cannot see ourselves unless he reveals himself to us. And inference also cannot help, because we went through that inferences, like when there is a creation, there has to be a creator, can be made with the help of perception, independent of the Vedas. But still, how do we know that the God is defectless? How do we know that he is full of infinite auspicious attributes? How do we know that God is supreme, he is independent? So all his attributes are known via the scriptures, primarily the Vedas. So God cannot be perceived, means till he reveals himself, and inference also cannot help. So God has to be known only through his attributes, Lakṣana. And the Lakṣana of God is known through the scriptures, that is the Sadagama, primarily the Vedas. So Shri Madhvacharya starts his Maṅgala Ślokā with Sadakamaika Vigyeyam. God is known specially through the Sad Agamas. This much we have seen in the previous part. And in the part 16, we will proceed with the rest of the sloka. So in the Maṅgala Ślokā, the Supreme God Śrīman Nārāyaṇā is saluted. You may ask how Madhvacharya came to the conclusion that Nārāyaṇā is God, how he is Supreme God. So there are enough pramanas from the Vedas, Itihasa Purana, which we will go through later. So the Supreme God Śrīman Nārāyaṇā is saluted in the Maṅgala Ślokā. And he means Sri Madhvacharya, Srimad Acharyaru says that Narayana is specially known via defectless scriptures. And the next comes Samadita kṣara kṣara, kṣara akṣara. So he surpasses both kṣara and akṣara. He is supreme and nobody equals him or is superior to him. So this is what is told next. So let us proceed into understanding what is meant by this kṣara and akṣara. So kṣara means those who have bodily destruction. This is starting from Chaturmukha Brahma to the blade of grass, or you take bacteria, virus, whatever it is. So the souls which has bodily destruction, all souls come under this category. But the soul is immortal. So kṣara means bodily destruction. It is not the destruction of the soul. Immediately we should not think that the soul will destruct. The soul is immortal as God. In Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga, that is second adhyaya, 12th shloka, Shri Krishna says, Natvevaham jatunasam, natvam neme janadipaha, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha, sarve vayamata param. Sri Krishna says, that means Sri Krishna was not non-existent in the past. That means he was existent in the past. And he says to Arjuna, it is not that you were not non-existent in the past. That means Arjuna also existed in the past. That means Arjuna's soul existed in the past. And these kings, so he shows all third persons. So the first person is Krishna himself. He speaks. And the second person to whom he speaks is Arjuna. And the third persons, the kings standing in the battlefield, he says those were also not non-existent in the past. So this means all three, Krishna, the God himself, who is obviously immortal, and the souls, which includes Arjuna and all other kings, were existent in the past. So he stresses on the existence of all in the past. And he says, Krishna says, we all, that means Krishna himself, Arjuna, the second person, and all the kings in the battlefield will not be non-existent in the future also. That means they are all existent in the future as well. That means let it be Krishna or Arjuna, the soul of Arjuna, or the soul of kings, those who are present in the battlefield, all were existent since time immemorial. All are existing since time immemorial, means they are eternal, and they will continue to exist even in the future. And one of the friends asked me, your Krishna spoke about the past, he spoke about the future, but he didn't speak about the present in the shloka. So he even, this need not be spoken, because Krishna, in their present during the battle, they were already speaking with each other. So they know that they are existing. It's needless to say that they are existing in the present. Even a child knows, when we talk with a child, even a child knows that the speaker and the listener are existing in the present. So that is a stupid question actually. Krishna doesn't need to speak about the present. That is his presence when he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. So it is obviously known that they are all existing in the present. So he didn't speak about the present, but he said all were existing in the past and they will continue to exist in the future also. That means he means the soul. So this means the souls, may it be of Arjuna or maybe the other kings or any soul, are immortal as God, and they are eternal without a beginning and end. So this much we can say. Now, even a kid when he or she speaks, they say we. When we address a group of people, say for example, when I speak, then I will not say I, you, and all these things. There is no necessity to say that. We will simply say we. The one word we will bring the same meaning. So even the kid knows that. In that case, the omniscient God Krishna has given Bhagavad Gita, which has got a very high value and is considered, is given very high regards by all rishis, devatas. So such a Krishna, why should he say, I existed in the past, you existed in the past, and these kings existed in the past? So why should he divide this and say in terms of the first person, second person, and the third people? He could have simply said we. The reason is God is also immortal, soul is also immortal, but the soul and God are not the same. They are neither equal. There is a huge difference between God and the soul. Krishna also existed from time, existed, he is still existing, will exist from time immemorable and without time immemorable and without an end. The souls also exist. They are also eternal and immortal. But there is a huge difference, Veda, between the Ishvara and Jiva. Because Ishvara is independent, Jiva is dependent. Ishvara has got all infinite auspicious attributes. He is defectless, whereas the Jivas have defects. They have Ajnana, all these things. So we will go through the differences later. God is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, which is not seen in the case of the soul. So there is a huge difference between Ishvara and Jiva. So Krishna means to say, though Krishna is immortal and Arjuna is also immortal, they should not be taken as equal to each other. So Shri Krishna clearly divides and says I, you, which shows Ishvara Jiva Veda. He says, though both are immortal, don't consider that both are equal. Krishna is superior to all souls. It is very clear. So he could have at least said I and you all. Means he could have included you all. In you all, he could have said like that, and he could have included all the kings and Arjuna himself. But why does he separate and say you and all these kings? So that is to show the Jiva Jiva Veda. There is Taratamya even between one soul and another soul. The souls are also not same or equal with respect to one another. So the deep meaning is Shri Krishna stresses the Ishvara Jiva Veda and Jiva Jiva Veda in this shloka by saying separately, by dividing and saying I, you, and all these. So the Advaita is gone, Advaita Mata is gone here. This shows that Krishna does not accept Advaita Mata. That is not the truth. So let it be on one side. So souls are naturally immortal, but have bodily destruction. So if you think the soul dies, then Krishna says it is not. The soul does not die. But what happens to the soul when the body dies, when the body destructs? So in the same Bhagavad Gita, 2nd Adhyaya, 13th Shloka, that is in the Sankhya Yoga, Sri Krishna says, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptihi dhirastatra na mukhyati. Dehi means one who resides in the body, one who possesses the body. Deha means body. Dehi means one who resides in it or one who possesses that body. So, Dehino asmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. Kaumaram means childhood. Yavvana means youth. Jara means old age. So, the physical body is the one in which the soul stays. The body transforms from childhood to youth and then to the old age. So this is our own experience. That is the experience of every human being in this world. We all souls have this experience that we faced childhood, then we transformed into youth, and then we transformed to the old age. But nobody cries about this transformation. Nobody worries this, because we know the soul is existing in this body. It is just a transformation. So from the childhood to youth and from the youth to old age, nobody worries about this transformation. Nobody cries for it. In fact, people like me, I am in job and I feel that my real life starts when I get retired. So I'm praying for God that the time should come quickly, because after the retirement only, I think I can fully get myself involved in the studies. Now, the most of my time is eaten by my job. So I'm not worried about old age. Rather, I am happy that I should become old soon and get retired. And only prayer to God is that I should have enough health and strength to continue learning the Shastras. So nobody worries about this transformation. The soul stays within the body, and the soul has experienced that the body transforms from childhood to youth and then to the old age. But nobody worries or cries for this. Similarly, after shedding this body, another transformation happens. That is, the soul gets a new body based on its past karma. So we have to be devoted to God. We have to follow dharma, righteousness as prescribed in Vedas, and we have to do our duty properly. We have to earn punya. So obviously the next body that we get will also be a good one. It will be a human body. It will be a good one. That is also promised by Krishna. He says, whoever is devoted to him, he will take care of their welfare. That is the promise made by Krishna in another shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So there is another transformation. The soul gets a new body here. That's all. It sheds a body which is called death, and the soul gets a new body in the next birth that we call as birth. That is all. So it is a transformation, and people should be happy that they are going to get a new fresh body which will have more strength and health, probably, if that is the soul has done good deeds. So when our shirt becomes old, so somebody says they will give us a new shirt and ask us to throw the old one. So we are not going to worry about that. We should feel happy. So similarly, if we are getting a new body, then we should feel happy rather than worrying about that. Only because of the uncertainty, we is worried. So when we read Vedas, Shastras, and understand what really happens, then this fear will be gone. Also, when the body keeps on changing, the soul from inside experiences these differences. This shows that the soul is different from the body. This shloka also stresses on the fact that soul is different from the body. Body has a creation and end, I mean the physical body, whereas the soul is eternal and immortal. So this is in one way to counter the Charuvakas, the materialists who don't believe anything beyond the body. But we will come to the Charuvaka criticism later. in this series of episodes. We will come to that later. So next, to show that the soul is immortal, cannot be destroyed, again in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd Adhyaya, the same Sankhya Yoga Shloka number 23. So Krishna says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, naina dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshyati marutaha. Shastra, that is the weapons. The soul cannot be cut by the weapons. The soul cannot be burnt by fire. And the soul cannot be drowned in water, made very soft and destroyed as well. And the soul cannot be dried in air and be destroyed. So Shri Krishna says the soul is indestructible, it is immortal. So that means both God. Yes, even the soul itself is immortal, it is needless to say that God is immortal. So both God and soul are immortal. They can't be destroyed by elements like earth, fire, water, air, and so on. That is what is conveyed in this shloka. So if we proceed to know about the soul, then the soul is subatomic. The Upanishads like Shvetashvatra Upanishad, it clearly says that the soul is subatomic. It says if we take the tip of a horse tail, one hair from the tail of the horse and the tip of that, and if that tip is cut into 10,000 pieces, then one such piece is the size of the soul. So you can imagine. So it should not be literally understood, but they say the soul is infinitesimally small, even lesser than an atom or subatomic particles, whatever is discovered, the soul is even smaller than that. And this soul has got a form, and that form is called the soul's Swarupa. That is the Rupa. Rupa means the form, the actual eternal form of the soul. And this form of the soul has got all limbs, that is hands, legs, the fingers, and then the sense organs, and then the mind, intellect, buddhi, everything it has got. And the Shastras say God, Lord Śrīman Nārāyaṇā, that is in the form of Bimbarupa of the soul, original form of the indwelling form of the God within the soul is of the size of right thumb of the soul. So just imagine that the soul itself is very tiny, very subatomic, and the soul has got hands, fingers, everything, and the God is in the size of the right thumb finger of that subatomic soul residing within the soul, in the Hridaya Akasha of the soul. So this infinitesimally small subatomic soul that is covered with a body called Linga Deha. And this Linga Deha that is also present with the soul even before the soul comes to the creation. That stage is called Asvijya Sthiti. And there, this all karma from time immemorial are saved in this Linga Deha, because of which the soul gets various birth. So this covering around the soul is called Linga Deha. So that is attached to the body of the soul, and it is again detached during the liberation. That is, the Linga Deha is also indestructible, that cannot be destroyed, but it gets detached. So we call it Linga Deha Bhanga. So this happens before liberation. After shedding this Linga Deha only, the soul in its original form enjoys unmixed bliss in the liberated state. So there is another body covering this linga deha, wrapping this linga deha, which is called aniruddha deha. And this deha means body. So this body is known to have the jada manas, indriyas, intellect, all those things. So the mind, intellect, senses are all of two forms. One is the intrinsic. One is intrinsic with the form of the soul, and the other one is external. So these external senses, mind, intellect are all known to be present in this Aniruddha Deha. And the another body that covers this Aniruddha Deha, that is called Sthula Deha or Sthula Sharira. That is the physical body of the soul that the soul possesses. So when a soul gets this body, the physical body, that is called birth. And when the soul sheds this physical body, that is called death. So it will again take birth in another body. So now the body is destructible, but the souls are indestructible. However, their body is destructible. So the souls that have such bodily destruction, death, means the souls themselves do not die, but the body dies. So the souls who have got this birth and death, who shed their body, who have got bodily destructions, are called kṣara. So this is right from Chaturmukha Brahma to the least of the physical forms in this world. The bodies of all souls. It is applicable to all souls, starting from Chaturmukha Brahma. And when we come to akṣara, Lakshmi herself is called akṣara because she is eternally liberated and she is never into the birth and death cycle. She never is born, she never dies. So whatever incarnations done here, may it be for Viṣṇu or Lakshmi, those are just the manifestation of forms, but not real birth and death. Because Viṣṇu and Lakshmi, both of them do not possess any physical body or the prakrita deha, the body that is made of the 5 elements of nature or prakriti. So they don't have any prakrita deha, and they are completely in their swarupa deha, that is the original form of that conscious being, may it be Viṣṇu or Lakshmi. So this is called swarupa deha. The swarupa deha is immortal. It is eternal, it is immortal. That is for applicable for God, Lakshmi, and all the souls as well. So swarupa deha will never be destroyed. So that way, God and Lakshmi never get into birth and death. So they don't have bodily destruction. So, but what is to be noted here is God says he even surpasses akṣara. So akṣara means Mahalakshmi, who does not have any bodily destruction, and kṣara means whoever has got bodily destruction. That means all the souls. So the God is in Swarupa. He does not have any destructible body, and he surpasses both the souls, the soul varga, and akṣara, Lakshmi as well. So he is the Purushottama. He is the best among everything. Chaturmukha Brahma is best among the souls. Mukhya Prana Vayu, that is the root form of Sri Madhvacharya, Hanuman, Bhima, Madhvacharya, the Mukhya Prana Vayu, and as well as his incarnation. So they are the best among the souls. Chaturmukha Brahma, Mukhya Prana Vayu are all best among the souls in the soul group. So if you consider everything in totality, then Viṣṇu is the best among all. He surpasses the kṣara and akṣara both. And that is why he is God. So in Bhagavad Gīta, chapter 15, Adhyaya 15, and Shloka number 18, Purana Purushottama Yoga. So he says, Krishna says, Yasmat Ksharam Atito Aham Aksharat Apicha Uttamaha. That is, he surpasses both kṣara and akṣara. He is uttama to both kṣara and akṣara. Then ataha asmi loke vede cha pratitaha purushottamaha. So that is why he is Purushottama, and Krishna says the Purushottama who is spoken in the Apaurusheya Veda. So Purusha means some entity, some person. So Paurusheya means authored by someone. So he says Loke. Loka means Paurusheya Granthas. So Smritis, all that are Paurusheya. So in Paurusheya as well as Veda, that is the Apaurusheya Veda, unauthored Vedas and the authored scriptures. In both, the Purushottama who is spoken of is none other than Krishna himself. Krishna, in his root form is Narayana, Viṣṇu. So all are same actually, the Narayana, Viṣṇu, and the incarnated forms, that is the Parabrahma form, Narayana, and then the Vyuha Rupas like Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and then the incarnated forms, all are one and the same. So that there is only difference in the manifested forms, but the entity is same. So Krishna says he surpasses the kṣara and he is superior to even akṣara. Hence, he is the Purushottama spoken in the Vedas and authored scriptures. So this is the explanation for kṣara, akṣara. So samyak adita, samadita kṣara means this Narayana who is saluted in the Maṅgala Ślokā of Śrīmad Viṣṇu Tattva Vinirṇaya composed by Sri Madhvacharya. He is the one who is specially and primarily known via the defectless scriptures, and he is the one who surpasses, or he is the one who is superior to both kṣara and akṣara. So the point here to note is, as we said, perception cannot help to understand God. God cannot be perceived unless he reveals himself, and that is not going to happen from day one. Inference is also not going to help us in knowing the God. That means in inferences that are independent of the Vedas. Only to a certain extent we can infer and say that God exists. If it is independent of the scriptures, I am saying, not the inferences based on scriptures. Because the Vedas and scriptures are the ones which show us the God. So inference based on Vedas and the all other defectless scriptures have to be very well accepted. But I am speaking about the inference independent of the defectless scriptures. So that will also not help in knowing the God. So the only way to know the God is through his attributes, and these attributes are revealed to us by the defectless scriptures, which are primarily the Vedas. That is why Śrīmad Acharya starts the Mangalacharana with Sadakamaika Vigyayam. So he is known specially through the scriptures only. So also we have to note, even when Krishna says he is Purushottama, he has all authority. He is the God. He has all authority to say that he is God and he is Purushottama. Yet he points out to Vedas and the authored scriptures. So we should understand that God, this Purushottama, is primarily or specially known via the unauthored Vedas and the authored scriptures, which does not conflict with the Vedas. So this much we have to know. There is more to discuss about this Maṅgala Ślokā, because I completely went into Bhagavad Gīta to explain what is meant by kṣara, what is meant by akṣara, and how the God surpasses, or he is supreme to both categories, all that. Still, there are some points in the Tikas, Tippani, And we also have to look into what is meant by defectless and what is meant by full of attributes, all this, at least a brief. So the Mangalacharana Shloka is not yet complete. However, I have to pay attention to the time span of the video also, because if it is too long, then it may cause some frustration to common public and may not be welcome. So let me stop this part 16 here, and let us continue with this Mangalacharana Shloka in the part 17 as well. So then Sri Madhvacharya proceeds to explain what are all the Sadagama he himself says, and then we will look into what is meant by Duragama, that has to be discarded. And then slowly Sri Madhvacharya himself enters into the Veda Apurushayatva Vada, that is into proving the eternity of the Vedas and the authority of the Vedas, where he presents the debates with several philosophies and religions, and he tries to establish his point of view, that is the truth in the scripture named Śrīmad Viṣṇu Tattva Vinirṇaya. So let us go through this in detail, slowly and steadily, one by one in the succeeding parts of this series. So let me conclude this part here. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.